Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And over the last few days, I ended up watching a ton of movies, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a few movies on that Tubi app that are kind of free. And then the last one I saw, which was just last night, was Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. And the movie was great, don't get me wrong. The story was pretty cool, where it basically jumps ahead like decades into the future, where like an aging Sub-Zero trains Kenshi into how to fight, and they eventually fight a really old version of Kano and the Black Dragon. But at the back of my head, I kept on thinking like that they were kind of wasting a lot of opportunities with the story. And what I mean by that is, like, they take a lot of interesting concepts and they introduce a lot of new things, but then they kind of do away with them like almost as quickly as they show up, right? And as a matter of fact, they did that in the previous movie, Battle of the Realms. So, like, if you guys remember, like, the first movie in the series, Scorpion's Revenge, that was mostly based on like the first video game, with a lot of Scorpion sprinkled into it. And like, and I'll be honest, like, I don't remember how much story of the original video game was used, but I do know that at least in the movie, like, his Scorpion's like character arc was like very much intertwined with the story of Mortal Kombat. Of the rest of the heroes, where they're fighting Shang Tsung and like all those other people, right? So the first movie was more or less based on the original game, and in the second movie, Battle of the Realms, they decided to like cram in the second, third, and 10th games, like MK2, 3, and X. And personally, I don't like that. Like, I don't. I feel like they should have just had it be like based on Mortal Kombat 2, possibly Mortal Kombat 3, and then like save the whole thing with Shinnok and like the whole thing with the Cyber Initiative. Like, save it for the 10th game. But my point is, like, for Battle of the Realms, Scorpion basically had no bearing over the plot. Like, he was going off doing his own thing, while like Liu Kang, Sonya, Jax, and Johnny Cage, they were all doing, like at the actual tournament, fighting like Shao Kahn and his henchmen. Meanwhile, Scorpion like just escaped hell, and he's looking for this amulet. Meanwhile, he's being attacked by Sub-Zero's younger brother, Kai Lang, I think his name is. I don't know, but either way, like, personally, I don't think that Shinnok and unfortunately Scorpion, I don't think either of them had any business being in the second movie. Because that whole thing with Shinnok, like, becoming, like, overpowered or whatever, and it's up to, like, Liu Kang and the other heroes, like, to stop him. That whole thing just felt tacked on, right? Because, like, they didn't even really know about, like, what Shinnok's plan was until, like, the final 15 or 20 minutes. And by then, they had already fought Shao Kahn, right? So the main conflict with, like, winning that final Mortal Kombat tournament, like, it was already over. So, like, why did they... It didn't make sense to me why they tacked on, like, basically the plot of MKX during the final few minutes of that film. But the gore was still cool, and the fight scenes were still great. But then you jump to like Snowblind, where where I'll admit, like, they didn't cram as much stuff in it as they did with the previous movie, where, like, it was mostly focused on, like, Kenshi and the younger Sub-Zero, who is now an old man. And, like, I'll be honest, it was basically an Old Man Logan story, where, like, an aging hero, like, swears off the use of his powers, because, like, in the past, he basically caused, like, a massacre with them on accident. But then he finds, like, this younger pupil to train, to, like, fight the, like, new bad guys, kind of. But yeah, it's basically, like, it's basically Old Man Logan with a mixture of, like, these like, new franchise movies like Star Wars, where like, an old, aging veteran hero trains, like, a new, younger protege, right? And for the most part, it was pretty original. Like, the main villain was Kano, right? Who's allied with, like, a really old version of Shang Tsung, and, like, all these other characters from MKX, such as Aaron Black, Ferrator, I think. There's one called Tremor. And the whole thing was great. Even when Kenshi goes after Kano alone. And because he gets captured, Kai Lang, he decides to summon Scorpion, and they end up saving Kenshi and fighting Kano, right? Well, that's all great until the final few minutes when they finally reveal, like, how the world became a wasteland, and how Kano is still alive, as a matter of fact, because if I remember correctly, back during Scorpion's revenge, Sonya Blade and Jax, they killed Kano at the end of it. And the reason and the way they reveal that he's alive is that he used Kronika's hourglass from Mortal Kombat 11. And as interesting as a concept that is, I feel like they wasted it in this movie, right? And, I mean, first of all, like, they didn't actually explain how Kano came back, because, like, someone would have had to bring him back for a reason. And I got this little theory about how, like, originally it was Shang Tsung who brought Kano back, because, like, I mean, Kano was a pretty good henchman back in Scorpion's Revenge. So I'm guessing what happened was that Shang Tsung brought Kano back and tried to remake the world in his image, but Kano found out about the hourglass, so he ended up stealing it for himself, and basically made Shang Tsung his bitch. So but that's just what I think happened to the whole hourglass thing. But then second, the whole thing got wasted because at the end of the movie they destroyed the hourglass. So like, now they can't do like an adaptation of Mortal Kombat 11. And I don't know, like, this is the second movie where I feel like it's just wasted its opportunities. And I feel like what I think should have happened was that, like, the first movie should have been based on the first game, right? The second movie should have been based on the second game, and, like, strictly the second game, like, just Mortal Kombat 2. They didn't have to go into, like, that stuff about Mortal Kombat X or Mortal Kombat 3. And then the third movie, like, they probably could have done, like, MKX mixed with MK4, whatever it was, or maybe just save that for the fourth film. But anyway, at whichever point that they would have done the MKX storyline, and then the movie after that if they still want to do like a Snowblind story where like it takes place in the wasteland or whatever, like they probably could have like done that movie either before or after the MK11 adaptation, right? Where like say at the end of the MK11 movie, say like it ends with Shang Tsung remaking the world in his image, and then like there's a stinger at the end where Kano finds out about the hourglass and he takes it for himself, and then we could have had the Snowblind arc. Instead, no, all we got are like 3 movies that's a mishmash of like whatever the hell they're doing, right? And weirdly enough, now that I think of it, it kind of feels like the Star Wars franchise, well, the Star Wars sequels, where the first movie is pretty solid. The second one, although it has a lot of cool visuals, like it's also kind of a mess, and like them cramming in too much stuff, and a couple too many things that are a little bit unnecessary. And then the third one tries to course correct a bit, but tries to give everyone what they want, and ends up failing. At least that's how I see the Mortal Kombat Legends trilogy. And that's not in any way saying that the trilogy is bad by any means, because like those 3 movies I still think are miles better than the Star Wars sequels. It's just that right now I think that that the movie Snowblind and Battle of the Realms have been wasted potential, and everything new that they keep putting out, like they just as easily just literally kill it off. Like second movie, that thing about the Cyber Initiative, gone. Shinnok, dead. Kano brought back to life, then easily killed off. Kronika's Hourglass, they introduce it in the last 10 minutes of Snowblind, and then they destroy it. So I don't know. Hopefully they do another one. I'm not sure exactly what exactly they'll do, since, you know, like I said, like it ends with Sub-Zero and Scorpion going into hell, and now we just have Kenshi. Because by the way, in Snowblind, like they make reference to the whole to that whole fight that Liu Kang had with Shinnok. They even have a statue in his honor in some places, but Liu Kang, Sonya, Jax, Johnny Cage, like all the fan favorites, like they're nowhere to be seen. So we don't know if they're killed off or not. Oh, and by the way, another plot point that Kano used was that like he unleashed this horde of like revenants from, I believe, MKX. And like that goes nowhere. Like they're only mentioned and shown in the flashbacks, but they're never shown in the present day story. So I don't know, again, like I said, wasted potential. But that's really all I can say now. I mean, there's really not much else I can say without ragging on it anymore. I mean, at the end of the day, like they are good movies. They are. It's just that I feel like every time they introduce a new idea, they get rid of it just as quickly. But those are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear kind of everybody else's, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And that's really it. I'll see you guys in the next video.